Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I am Morris Merriweather. I am the author of Enough is Enough, Public Education Has Spiraled Out of Control, and also the host of Straight Talk in Room 503. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to get some workout in, but obviously it's time to go to class and tell the message true again. Call a friend, tell a friend, text a friend. Tell them that Professor Merriweather is leaving the gym and is headed to class. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in class. Don't touch that dial. You need to know the message true. Let's go to class. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into some serious conversation, I got some things I want to give you. So get your notepad out and make some notes, and then we'll get on to talking about the message truth with public education. Ladies and gentlemen, before going further into the class, I want to share this with you. At Carson Elementary School in Cincinnati, Ohio, an 8-year-old boy hung himself in his bedroom and was discovered by his mother the next morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this was bullying. 3 students was bullying this little boy at school and would catch him in the restroom and would kick him, beat him, choke him, and would slam him up against a brick wall. Ladies and gentlemen, several students observed this, but they said nothing. And this went on day in and day out. That on this particular day, which was 24 hours from this telecast, that the little boy went into his bedroom and hung himself. Many of the students never told anyone. Some of them stepped over him, some of them also kicked him as well. But this precious little 8-year-old boy is now in the arms of Jesus, far before his time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing this to you because we have problems in public education. Yes, we have people with master's degree, professional development, and who have a desire to teach. But ladies and gentlemen, teaching, administrating, and board members and superintendents is a special calling. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say this to you. Until we in my hometown and your hometown get busy and get those people who know what the hell they're doing and know how to work with our young people and can be held accountable and save our children, public education is going to continue to plummet just even further down. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a prime example. A precious little 8-year-old kid gone home to be with Jesus in his early years when he should be outside playing with his friends, learning in school, and preparing for his bright future. So this tells me that we have at least 3 people in this particular school in Carson Elementary that are going to grow up, if they're not dealt with, that will become criminals. And ladies and gentlemen, while we do nothing, it could be your son, your nephew, next. We do not know. Bullying must stop. We must train our personnel to deal with this. And ladies and gentlemen, just think if someone at the age of somebody, the 3 guys at the ages of 8, are doing this to a human being, what will they do to the elderly, the poor, the downtrodden? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to get busy. That's why I come to you each week and I say, what is our faith-based community doing? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wonderful thing to be in the pulpit on Sunday morning and preach the gospel. It's a wonderful thing to be in Bible class and preach the gospel. But ladies and gentlemen, what do we do when the benediction is given? Where is our religious community during the week? They're certainly not at the boardroom. They're certainly not marrying people because we're not having many marrying cases. Guys are not marrying like they used to do when I was growing up. And ladies and gentlemen, they're not appearing in court to try to save Pee Wee and Bubba. So ladies and gentlemen, what do they do during the course of the week? Maybe they're preparing for the Sunday morning sermon. But ladies and gentlemen, he said, go ye in all the world and preach my gospel. Not in your particular church. We got to go to the highways and the hedges and the inner city. We got to go wherever people are and tell them about a God We got to go out and recruit people into God. And that's what we're not doing. They're not speaking out about public education. They're saying that they care about all the sheep. Well, what about the sheep that are walking by them daily, not being properly educated, getting in trouble, hurting and killing other kids? And we have Family Life Center, classrooms that during the course of the week are closed until Sunday morning and Wednesday night. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can do better. I'm going to tell you another story that's just as sad. Ladies and gentlemen, I watched a video this week and I want to share this video with you. This is a video in New York City of a white police officer. He entered the cells of a black teenager. You see him struggling with her until he gets the cuffs on her. Then you see him, ladies and gentlemen, obviously for the type of video that I was able to observe, he was aware that there was a camera in the cell and that the lights was on. This was not in the dark. This was in the bright light. And he was being recorded. He knew it. Ladies and gentlemen, he went on and struggled with this little black teen until he could get her to the point of turning her over. And then he straddled her and raped her. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a sad day in the history of America. That the people who are sworn to protect us is actually killing and raping some of our children. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a prejudiced person. And if you think that I am, you're entitled to your opinion. But hell is wrong. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand the quietness in the communities across this country where this is going on. I am not for killing of anyone, certainly not police officers who are supposed to be protecting us. But when an officer is ambushed or killed, then we come out Blue Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matters. Then when blacks come out with Black Lives Matter, it's a racial thing. But ladies and gentlemen, these videos are being showed on YouTube. That's why I was able to see it. And we're teaching our children that the police officer is their friend. Teaching the little one, they're your friend. Respect them. Tell them what's going on. And then, ladies and gentlemen, our young children are going on YouTube. And just like I just was random looking through and I ran upon this, then our young children are watching the white police officer, whether he's white or black or green, any police officer, raping a person that are in their protection, in their custody, excuse me. This is wrong. But you wonder why, certainly the white community wonder why. Why do those blacks hate the police department so much? We have been taken advantage of and abused and excessive force used so much on several, and lots of us have observed it and have formed an opinion. Thank God I'm an open-minded individual and that I'm not crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, this type of crap needs to stop. Now, the question is, why was he so comfortable doing this? Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that this has happened before. And ladies and gentlemen, there has to be people in that New York Police Department that is condoning this kind of action from police officers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it real, because Meriwether real with you. And this is the message truth. Now, I'm talking to all my students in class. I see white, black, rich, poor, learn and unlearn. Let me just talk to you. If that was in fact a black police officer raping a white teenager in a jail cell, handcuffed, there would be certainly an outcry and the jury will be looking at a life sentence. But ladies and gentlemen, after this video, I continue to check and Google. There's been no more mention of this. That young lady's life will never be the same. So ladies and gentlemen, doesn't all life matters? When will our religious community, when will our fraternities and sororities and NAACP, when will we get involved and stop the stuff that's going on with our children? But yet when our children do something bad, we're willing to talk about it. But we don't talk about how our children are being treated. Shame on you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right back and we're going to go further. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a sad day in America. It's even sadder in the black community. Professor Merrill, what are you talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, I was blown away when I read that Betsy DeVos, D-E, capital V-O-S, if I didn't pronounce her name correctly. You should know her. She is the Secretary of Education. And she has made it perfectly clear Donald Trump hired her because he knew her stance on public education, that she was not a big fan of public education, that her pushes for voucher system that would help to improve charter schools and private schools, taking money away from public education. Yet, I observe many of people looking like me, people of color. Not many of them, I shouldn't say many, few of them, because there's just few of us that lost our man with some of the rest of the people. Had signs up, blacks for Donald Trump. But thank God, ladies and gentlemen, let's just think about it. Let's just keep it real. Very few African Americans, as some would say to me, blacks, supported Donald Trump. Say what you want to about black people. We're not crazy. We're some of the most educated and law-abiding, common sense thinking people on the planet. We had more sense than the back of man that you embarrassed about now. You embarrassed. You ought to be hanging your head in shame that you elected a maniac for president. A man that tweets in the odd hours of the morning when he should be sleeping. A man that if you disagree with or say something, he tweets you and challenge you and sue you in court. A president. All of this crap didn't go on with our first black president, while some of you, because of his color of his skin, did not support him. But ladies and gentlemen, he brought dignity. There was no scandal during the 8 years that President Obama was in office. But can you say that about this president? He says it's okay to grab women in the private area. They like it. And he also said that he could shoot a person. And his popularity was still going. This is a crazy man. But one thing you can say, Professor Merriweather had more sense than to vote for him. But honey, don't say anything. We in our big neighborhood, and white picket fence and BMW and 2 kids, we voted. And my children are not looking up to me like they used to because they know daddy made a big mistake. He should have never voted for a man called Donald J. Trump. But yet, I got to pretend that I love daddy a whole lot because I don't want to go to college and try to make something out of my life. Dad didn't do too good and make a decision at his age, him and mama. So ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think that your children are listening and looking and have an opinion of their parents, I know I had some opinion of my parents, and you do too. So ladies and gentlemen, you don't have the children fooled. They know what's going on. They're not as dumb as you think they are. They listen and watching us. That's why we're having so much problem now, because they watching us and listen to how we perform. But this Secretary of Education, on Wednesday of this week, I just can't believe this, went to Bethune-Cookman University. To those who are not a people of color, this is a predominant historical black university. The president of this particular college is Dr. Edison Jackson, is his name. I will always remember him. Ladies and gentlemen, he allowed this black president of a historical black college, allowed and invited Betsy DeVos to be the commencement speaker at a predominant black university. And you in your nice suits and everything, you're changing your voice. You want people to respect you because I'm president of a college. Ladies and gentlemen, My question is, and let me keep it real as I normally do, what the hell was Betsy DeVoe being at a historical black college, and she's telling you and those of us in the black community, I am not for public education, where majority of our black youth graduate from public school. We're not attending private school. Come on, let's keep it real. This woman says that she will take money out of public education where your child, your grandkid, your neighbors, and your friend children attend school. And the president, Dr. Mr. PhD Jackson, invited this woman to speak at the commencement at a predominantly historical black college where young minds are leaving to go out in the world and be successful. They bring this woman in to speak. Well, the students had more sense than Dr. Jackson, because what did they do? They turned their back when she began to speak. Lord have mercy. Then they began to boo, boo. But then, ladies and gentlemen, this got my attention. This real articulate black PhD president of a historical black college got up and grabbed the mic. I couldn't believe what came out of his mouth. Listen to this. He said to the graduates, now keep in mind, grandmama, uncle, aunt, cousin had come to sit and watch their loved one graduate. And this man of distinction, so he think, man of no distinction is ignorant man, grabbed the mic and said, if you do not, and it went in slow motion, I just couldn't believe it. He said, if you do not quit booing, you will not get your diplomas today. I'll mail them to you. I'm glad that I didn't have my baby there, because my response was, oh, hell no. My child has went 4 years, and my child gonna get that diploma today. You gonna act a fool because you got Betty sit up here and hold back my diploma from my child because of this woman that you went out and got who should not have been here in the first place? And you gonna tell me you gonna mail my diploma? Don't make me mail you something. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just Professor Merriweather talking. But this man thinking this way. Well, now look, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it real. I surmise that there's a reason for this, that a man of this stature would invite Betsy to come speak at a predominant black school. Don't get me wrong, people. So you white people, keep your blood pressure down. I'm not saying that it's not appropriate to have a commencement speaker that does not look like the students and the president. Let's get that straight. But we have to be particularly careful who the African American are, in my term, the black is, as well as the white, Mexican, Puerto Rican, whatever. We must investigate them and make sure that we can look up to him and our children will feel that they're listening to someone that could give them good advice. What the hell could Betsy tell those students? How to be unfair to people of color? How to take money from people of color? How to, let's don't go into further this. This is just disturbing. But ladies and gentlemen, this man, Dr. Jackson, apparently, I hope I'm wrong, apparently contacted this woman to make some brownie points with the president of all people, because he knew that Betty is a billionaire and Trump is a billionaire, and that the university, once Trump found out that you invited this woman down here to talk to the blacks this way, that he would send a little money, as old folks say, grease a little palm, and that he was looking for a little money for him and for his institution. Because otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself, why in the hell would a man who's supposed to be intelligent invite a person that don't particularly care for your students nor you? Think about it. Now, Professor Mayer was just bold enough to bring it real to you. Rest of you thinking about it, you just don't have the galls to really say what you want to say. But thank God I'm blessed that I can say what I want to, and then nobody can do nothing about it but get the hell out of my way or press the button and don't listen to me. I'm not begging students to come to class. I'm not running a popularity contest. I'm not looking for no friends. I got rid of 2 bus loads of friends just a year or so ago. I, like anybody, would like to have friends. But the only friend I really need but here to the time that my master get back is Jesus. And that's the reason I sing that song all the time, what a friend we have in Jesus. I really don't need you. I'd like to have you as an associate or a friend. But if you going to base it up on what I say and not my action, how I fight for public education, how I fight for justice, if you don't want that, hey, as Donald Trump said, what the hell I got to lose? You know what this remind me of? Krushkov. Hope I said his name right. Got a strange name. But he is our congressman from my district. He represents Jackson and Brownsville and Memphis. When he campaigned, his biggest thing that he would talk about, he's going to do 2 things. To repeal Obamacare. And then he would say, I'm the Attorney General that locked up John Ford. I sent him to prison. And then some of my so-called educated black people would go to the rally and they would just clap for the congressman. But what was disturbing is that the mayor of Brownsville, in a city where it's 65%, that's not far from my hometown, and the same thing going on in your hometown, people, just wake up and smell the daisies, invited this congressman who was boasting and bragging about arresting and sending to prison Congressman John Ford, who represented us for years. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't condone, and I didn't particularly was a fan of John Ford. But at the same time, if I was congressman, come on now, let's keep it real. You in straight talk. And you know where the door if you don't like to hear what I'm saying. But ladies and gentlemen, if I was congressman and I was boasting and bragging at rallies about sending a white congressman to prison, do you believe that the white folks will vote for me? Do you believe that they wouldn't say anything? Would they continue to show up at the rallies? And they sure in the hell wouldn't invite me to speak at a banquet for them. But yet, this black mayor over in my Jordan County invited him to speak during Martin Luther King NAACP banquet. And blacks had to sit there and listen to this jerk. Ladies and gentlemen, is all of this because of money? I thought we in the black community had gotten away from Mr. Charlie giving us a little money, and then we sell our people out, make them sit there and listen to a bunch of crap. And then you want to talk about Pee Wee and Bubba, Nene. They got more sense than you think they have. At least they're not out here selling their darn people out, their friends out, and loved ones out for a little nickel and dime for master. Think about it. You knew when you turned and came to class today that Professor Merriweather keep it real. And he's tell the naked, natural, not naked, because this thing here ain't dressed up at all. I guess it would be naked. But tell the unadulterated, messy truth. And I'm going to continue to tell it. I'm going to continue to fight for justice. I'm going to continue to stand up and fight for those people who can't fight for themselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. Stay with me. I got some more I want to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, during this time of the year, normally across this country of ours, the NAACP hosts its Freedom Fund banquet. And many speakers come in and speak at these banquets during the observance of this occasion. in my hometown. I first have to tell you about my hometown. If I can't talk about my hometown, I sure in the hell should be talking about what's going on in your hometown. But I was blown away. I would not be in attendance, ladies and gentlemen. I'm smarter than that. I'm more intelligent than that. And I sure in the hell got more common sense to show up at the NAACP banquet this year that the president has allowed a Republican. There are bad Republicans, good Republicans, bad Democrats, good Democrats. We have a Republican that will be on center stage co-hosting the Freedom Fund banquet. Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't get me wrong. I particularly don't have any bones to grind with Representative Jimmy Eldred. I particularly personally like him. Don't really have a real big problem, except I'm not a good fan of the Republican Party because they do not stand to help all people. But ladies and gentlemen, he will headline the Freedom Fund banquet. Ladies and gentlemen, in our community, it's gotten to the point. It's time for us to come together. We boast and we brag. And now I'm talking to my black students. I'll come back to you white ones in a minute. But I'm talking to my black students. We boast and we brag and we wear all our nice clothes, show our nice jewelry and stuff off, drive them expensive cars, live in neighborhood beside people who don't want to live beside us and move the first chance that they get. Their children doesn't attend the same school that our children attend, but we just love them. We just love Master. We love the good old boys, people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing wrong with loving everybody, but it's what's wrong with loving someone that don't care about you. But the Bible teaches that we should love everybody, and so I love everybody. Don't get me wrong. So I love everybody that I mentioned so far in class. But it doesn't mean I have to associate with you. I don't have to bring you in and have my students to sit and listen to your mess. So, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing I can arrive at, it must be money. It must be money. Now, Judas sold the Lord out, 30 pieces of silver. We're doing the same thing. We're doing the same. We're selling our people out for a little nickels and dime, little prestige. I got to shake hands with so-and-so. I ate with so-and-so. What the hell difference does it make who hand I shook and who I sit down to eat with? But ladies and gentlemen, we'll have all of these people, I've been before, they're going to be all dressed up, got their nice Sunday go meeting clothes on, coming to, girl, you got your ticket, I'm going to the Freedom Fund, and tickets are $50 a piece, so if a husband and wife go, that's $100 to go and hear some crazy mess. Let me share something else with you in my hometown. It's going on in your hometown because you're not doing nothing. Listen, also this year, the publicity chairman of my local NAACP is an acquaintance of mine who happens to be white. I'm not knocking the color of his skin. I'm questioning as to why would he be receiving the Race Relation Award. That is an extinguishing high award and well-deserved of a person who has worked to improve race relation. Just because I talk to you and shake hands with you and grin with you and pat you on the back, does that make me a recipient of the Race Relation Award? And this is just what our local chapter of the NAACP doing. But at the end of the session of community feedback this past Sunday, a lady called in and she said, she wouldn't be attending. She don't understand what we got to celebrate for. What are we standing up and fighting for? And she also included, I told you it's going on in your hometown, she included Madison County and Shelby County. She said they're not doing anything within this used to be an organization that used to fight for people, stand up. But it's got to be a social club, a prestigious club. So, ladies and gentlemen, why would I be sitting there and the Race Relation Award going to a person that has not made a major difference in our community? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand it. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. No, I'm not going to even bring that up because some of you are not smart enough to distinguish what I'm saying. So we're going to leave it just where it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me get myself back together here because it's kind of disturbing to see what's going on in my community and your community, and you're not doing a darn thing about it, but sitting there grinning, calling yourself intelligent because you went and graduated from high school, went to college, and can't tell you nothing. Some of you sitting back with your little PhD degree, not doing nothing to benefit the mass. Education is for the mass. It's not for me. God wants me to help others, to pull others up. Who are you reaching down and pulling up? Ask yourself that question. It's just ridiculous that with your education and pretend that you're so important. I just can't understand it. It reminds me that I was, like I told you last week, I was at this funeral and there was all of these preachers. They had on all their little nice suits and stuff. And they were clearing their voices up and speaking like they don't normally do. But they was all sitting together, showing off their diamond rings and, oh, fine, how you doing, Mr. Merriweather? And then, good to see you. And that good to see you didn't come out of our neighborhood, come out of their neighborhood. So we said too, oh, good to see you. Do you really believe that Mr. Charlie's glad to see you every time? They see me out. I know they're not glad to see me. They say, good to see you, Mr. Merriweather. They're not glad to see me. I hate the ground I walk on because you're telling them the message truth. You're trying to get them to rebel, to organize against us, fight for justice. And then you got our preachers saying the same thing they heard some of the preachers that they let in their pulpit. They've been to little studies with them. And then they say, good to see you, glad to see you, and all that. Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. That's why our churches are not doing as well as they're doing, because we're playing games. Our sororities and fraternities without an agenda. Well, they have an agenda that doesn't affect the mass of our people. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just a sad day that across this country we're playing games and our children's lives are being affected. Listen, I got to get out of class. Let me share this with you, and then we're going to call it quit. Let me read this to you. This is about little Johnny. Little Johnny was late for school. The teacher asked him why. Little Johnny explained that it was because he met a man who lost his wallet on the street. Said the teacher. You was helping him find it? Not really, said Johnny. But I had to keep standing on it until he would give up and go away. Listen, lots of our so-called educated people in my community and your community. Professor Merriweather bring them the unadulterated messy truth every week. And they're standing on it, just like little Johnny standing on this man's billfold, waiting for him to walk away. That's what we're doing. We're standing on the messy truth, waiting for it to get better, and it's not, until we deal with it. Why don't we pick it up? Give it back to the good old boys. Give it back to Master. And say, look, it's time for a change. I'm not the same person I used to be. I got me some education just like you, Mr. John. And it's time you do the right thing. And Mr. John, I do love you, but I'm going to fight you until justice is served. Mr. Johnny, Professor Merriweather come to us every week telling us the truth. We're going to join the bandwagon and fight with Professor Merriweather because all lives matter. Mr. John, we're just not going to come and attend your church and you let us in and we hold no position in the church except we get to sit beside your daughter and your wife and we grin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a change. When the hell are you going to stand up? We at an all-time low in America. We got a lunatic for the president of the United States who even threatening, as of this telecast, the director of the FBI, begging him and asking him, can you be loyal to me? You can't be loyal to me, I'm going to get rid of you. He's firing people left and right, and he's tweeting people and saying all kind of things. He now even threatened that he may not have any more press conference. Every president has had press conference since the beginning of time. But yet we got so-called people that doesn't look like me is supporting him. Well, I want you to know that Professor Merriweather is not supporting that kind of stuff. And I'm looking at you strange. Oh, I'll see you out. I'll shake hands if you extend your hand and speak. But I'm taking a real good look at you. You're not as smart as I thought you were. Oh, you got the house. You got the job. But ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude with this. It's a very sad day. Graduation is all across the country. And I'm wondering what my people are thinking about. I see them going across the stage, and I see black parents, Pee-wee, Baba, yay, nay. They snapping pictures. And they're graduating. It's an honor to put 12 years in and graduate. They're graduating from a 12-year college, 12-year high school. But ladies and gentlemen, they don't go and get a trade and go to college and better education. It's so now that you're going to have to nearly get a PhD degree to even make it, because they're raising the bar to exclude so many of us. You don't really need that PhD. Some of us don't need. I got a master's because it was required. I didn't really need it. God had equipped me like he has everybody else. When you come on the face of the earth, God knows what you would be doing. He gave you everything you needed to make it home to the kingdom. So I did not necessarily need a master's degree. And I know without asking anybody in my community, I was one of the most effective administrators in the system. That I helped over 3,000 kids during my tenure. And I still see them out. Just the other day, I observed a guy and he said, Mr. Merriweather, I hadn't forgot you. Man, I remembered you. You helped me so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I get that all the time because God is allowing people to come back and let me know that I made a difference in their lives. And I'm not boasting, bragging. Everything and every credit things I've ever done in my lifetime, all glory go to God. But ladies and gentlemen, isn't it time, since you say you're intelligent, that you wake up, make a commitment that at our next meeting, we're going to discuss helping all children, especially those who are poor, black or white, rich or poor. We're going to help children to be elevated. We're going to make sure our tax dollars are being spent well. But ladies and gentlemen, I do want to, before closing out, I want to give a shout out to Reverend Price and his lovely wife in my hometown at Greater Vision. Reverend Price and his wife on every second Friday invite young people in and feed them and talk to them and mentor them. And for as I know, if I stand to be corrected, you know how to hit me up, hit me back. There are very few churches in my community that are working with the young people and reaching out like Reverend Price. So Reverend Price, if I don't know if you're in class and so many of you here today because you wanted to hear what Professor Merriweather was saying. I don't know if you're here, but if someone would tell Reverend Price that Merriweather congratulate him and his wife on an outstanding job that they're doing. Every second Friday of every month, they invite them in. And it doesn't make any difference whether you're a member of their church or not. They want to make sure they mentor you and work with you and encourage you. And most of all, tell you about the Lord Jesus Christ. That's what some more of our churches need to be doing, except protege and faking and grinning and going on and kissing butt. And not only share the gospel on Sunday and Wednesday night, but get out in the community, roll your sleeves up, take an interest in people. God's going to ask you, what did you do to the least of thee? And my question is, what will you say? I'm going to step forward while you waiting to get your words together and say, Lord, here am I. I worked with the least and I fought for them until the time you call me home. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Morris Merriweather, the author of Enough is Enough. Public education inspired out of control. And ladies and gentlemen, get your copy of the book if you're bold enough, or are you waiting on Master to tell you whether you can buy Professor Merriweather's book or not? Shame on you. Shame on you. If master will tell you to buy a book by someone else, I bet you'll break your neck getting down there to buy it. But ladies and gentlemen, don't think that I'm begging you to buy my book, because if you don't never buy my book, my blessings is already stored up and I'm getting them daily. But ladies and gentlemen, I am the host of host of Straight Talk in room 503. I'll see you next week. Tell a friend, call a friend, tell them that Professor Merriweather is bringing the natural, unadulterated, upfront, messy truth, and that we ought to do something before it's too late. And it's about too late. The clock on the wall said we're running out of time. Our children are hurting. And ladies and gentlemen, summer is coming. School will be out. There will be many of our kids that will die in these streets, all because they got no place to go. But yet our churches will have Family Life Center and classrooms and closed for the summer and open up on Sunday morning and Wednesday night. Shame on you, my faith-based community. And I'm not talking about all the people that look like me. Those who do not look like me, you're not doing any more than those that look like me. So that's the messy truth. Take care.